Welcome to Fridays for Fundraising. In the next 5 minutes, you're going to learn one step you can take before you leave the office today that can move fundraising forward for your small nonprofit. Hi, I'm Kelly, founder of From Scratch Fundraising, where we help nonprofit leaders raise more dough without burning anything. Every Friday, I'm here to serve up one bite-sized fundraising assignment that you can tackle in about an hour. Think of it as your weekly recipe for sustainable fundraising success. No overwhelm, just actionable steps that actually move the needle. Before we start, I want to say a huge thank you to DonorBox for making this podcast possible. Don't let your outdated donation form get in the way of your supporters' generosity. DonorBox offers fast, flexible, and friendly fundraising forms designed with your nonprofit in mind. www.donorbox.org, donorbox.org, and you can get started fundraising today. This week, we're talking email list segmentation and a little tip to make it easier for you. Segmenting emails is critically important. Knowing who is a donor and who isn't, this is a metric that we call audience penetration. How many people do you have access to that haven't converted to donors yet? Or how many people do you have access to that are not clients yet, depending on what metric is important to you. Knowing who is what's on your list is really, really important. And if you have people marked as donors or clients, if they're a donor, when was their last gift? How old is that tag? If it's a client, again, when were you serving them? How old is that tag? Could you confidently email and segment that based on that tag alone? A lot of nonprofits that I work with would say no, right? Could you easily segment a current donor from a lapsed donor from a never donor on your list? That is something that we want to be able to do easily. Beyond just knowing their status as a donor, as a client, as a prospective donor, as a prospective client, do you know what they are interested in? Do you have custom tags or other ways to separate that out? If your answer to that is no, this episode is for you. Now, I want to specify I'm talking about this from the donor perspective. So I'm going to talk about ways to make sure you're segmenting your list, being able to categorize people as donors or non-donors very easily, but you can apply the same thinking to people who you want to serve. If your list is made up of a lot of people that you serve or hope to serve, then you can also apply this same rationale to the program side very easily. So hopefully I'm hitting both sides of this equation for your nonprofit. A lot of people, when we hear segmentation and getting better at segmentation, a lot of people want to send a survey, which introduces a whole separate infrastructure. Usually I'll see nonprofits send a survey to find out about audience interests, and then we don't ever actually translate that back to our CRM or the email marketing platform. And so that is why I really like CRMs that do donations and email marketing within the same system. Neon One, DonorBox, and CauseVox are my favorites for this. These options integrate your fundraising and your outreach and your communications platforms so that you can target individuals based on donation behavior. And in particular, Neon One also integrates volunteer, member, and events data. So if you're an organization that runs classes, has an active volunteer base, and so forth, you can manage your messaging and outreach around these activities as well. So I love that. If you have that complex side to your mission, Neon One is a great tool for making sure you can segment people in all kinds of ways. So first, having the two things integrated on a single platform is absolutely invaluable. Beyond that, it's so helpful to make sure that you know what people want to hear from you. Now, I tend not to let them opt in or out of donation emails and such because everyone would opt out. Probably even your donors who love you would opt out. But rather, I like to allow them to code their own interests in your database. So if you have a platform like Neon, CauseVox, DonorBox that have these communication integrations, making it possible for your subscribers to self-select what they want to hear from you. This allows you to not only understand their preferences, but also it will incorporate back into their profiles so that you're not only marketing to them based on what they're interested in, but when you go into their profile to learn more about them, if you want to solicit them for higher levels of giving or otherwise want to engage them in your mission, you'll know exactly what they've self-selected into as their interests to know what to talk to them about. So this is a real win-win. It's not just email segmentation. It also plays a huge role in your ability to do really good major gifts work. What I tend to do is set up custom tags within the database in such a way that they appear external facing. They look like poll questions, honestly. Use those on sign-up forms so that you can start segmenting from the start. You can even put them on donation forms. And then every once in a while, ask your email list to update those preferences. Link them to a form where they can update that for their accounts. And if you don't have an integrated system like Neon One, DonorBox, or CauseVox, if you're using something like MailChimp or Constant Contact that you're using in addition to a donor database, again, I don't like using simple tags of donor where we pull out of our database and tag them as a donor in MailChimp or Constant Contact. That simple tagging method gets stale really quickly after a year or two. So instead, I like to have it set up so that a donation in my database, my CRM, or my online giving platform, whatever your system looks like, I like to have it set up so that a donation in that platform triggers an update in the email system with the last donation date, not just a tag of donor, but their last donation date. Then when you want to send a communication to current donors, you can filter your communication by that donation date, not a blanket donor tab. So this allows me to target anyone who has given in the last 3 months, or let's say I want anyone who has not given this year. Then I'm not saying donor, non-donor. I'm saying anyone whose last donation date is before this date. That is how I like to get them to talk to each other. I don't just like the donor, not donor tag, client, not client tag. We want them to update with dates that really give us that custom segmentation ability. And then the custom tags in MailChimp or Constant Contact, these are where to let people filter themselves based on interest. And if your database or online giving platform doesn't natively integrate into whatever you're using for your email marketing or doesn't tag in that way, almost everything can be integrated via Zapier to set up a system like this. So again, Zapier keeps coming up. It's a great tool if you have two platforms that don't communicate with one another. If you are loving these weekly assignments and want the complete recipe for fundraising success, consider joining Sustain and Thrive. It's a 12-month program that takes you from setting up your fundraising foundation all the way through donor stewardship, board engagement, and expansion strategies like major gifts, peer-to-peer fundraising, monthly giving, and so much more. So many people who join the program stick around way past their 12-month period because they're getting so much out of the group. We break down the monumental task of building a fundraising program into manageable, bite-sized assignments, just like this podcast, but with coaching support, a community of peers, and unlimited access to all of my templates and training. And the best part is the community that we have built within this group coaching program. I have people who have been in it for more than 2-3 years, and they become almost my co-coaches. And you just have this wealth of people to draw on. And when you're in a funk, when you're feeling like you can't do it, this community rallies. And I was just reminded of that recently when we had a client who has just been having a rough time, and everybody has just come to her aid, rallying, providing support. It's absolutely beautiful what happens within this community. So if you are feeling alone and like you are never going to get fundraising to work for you, join Sustain and Thrive, and you're going to find the possibilities again. Because fundraising support shouldn't leave you feeling like a burnt crust. I want you to join us in Sustain and Thrive, because we are, I promise you, putting the fun back into fundraising. I want you to go to FromScratchFundraising.com/apply if you want to join today. So your assignment this week, take a look at your mission and how you want to communicate with the people on your email list. What are the ways you want to be able to filter your audience? Set up those tags. This could be by program interests or what types of communications do they want, regular updates, calls for volunteers, that kind of thing. What type of engagement are they interested? Are they interested in donating, volunteering, being served by your organization? There are so many ways you can do this. It depends on your mission and what you want out of your email list. Then look at integrations you can make so that things stay up to date, like that last donation. Then prep an email to your audience and invite them to segment themselves so they hear what they are most interested in. I see these types of emails getting really good responses. And that's it. That's your assignment for this week. Remember, fundraising success isn't guesswork. It's following the recipe. I'll meet you here next week when we're going to dive into Leibunt strategies. And I'm just going to leave that hanging. And if you don't know what Leibunt is, you're going to have to be here next week. See you then.
Now go make the world a better place.